Okay, so I thought I'd do a quick little video on how to do an if-else loop in Drika's Hotspot, because if you know how to do that, you can actually, that really broadens your horizons on the sort of hotspots you can create, and makes it so that you can do a lot more with a single hotspot. So let's just start first of all with the idea of a loop. Let's create a hotspot here. So we could say, for example, I don't know, let's set some velocity here. So let's set the player velocity to 2, and we will just set the velocity. Let's say 3 actually. So as it is, this is just going to run immediately. Boom, he's just going to go up once. That's it. That's the end of it. But let's say I wanted to make the player actually be able to fly for some reason. Then I can actually, let's say, so I put an on input, button pressed. Let's just do the sheath item button for now. And now, if I press that button, he's going to jump up. But if I press it again, he's not going to do anything. So a loop, which you're probably already familiar with the concept, is me just saying go to line 0 again. So basically, after I've checked for the input and then I've set the velocity, I've done what I wanted to do, then I say we'll go to line 0 again and check it all over again. Now in this case, I'm going to switch this from button press to button down, and that way if I hold down E, he just keeps going up, because Drika's hotspot is looping through that code over and over and over again, checking it over and over and over again. I can show that sort of with debug current line. See how it says on input, nothing. He's just waiting for the input, but the moment I press that input, it starts rapidly flashing because it's going back and forth through the code. It keeps reading E as the input, and so it keeps moving him up and up and up. That's a loop. So an if-else loop expands on that a little to say, well, you don't just have to go down in a straight line. You can take shortcuts and crossroads, and depending on one thing, you can go in one direction, or depending on the other. So you notice I have 2 cubes here. I have a red cube and I have a blue cube. And what I want to do is I want to say, if the player is near the red cube, let's make him red colored, and if the player is near the blue cube, let's make him blue colored. So how would we start this? Well, we just say, let's do the proximity check again, actually. Oh, hang on. Let's move that up real quick. Alright, so we'll do that proximity check. Character ID 4, in proximity. I don't think I named these cubes, so I'll just, normally I name stuff like this because it's easier, but we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Let's try that. Okay, let's try that again. I'm not gonna. You know what? Let's just name them. I always like naming this sort of stuff anyway. Let's do simple red cube, and the other one will be blue cube. Naming it just makes everything a lot easier to read too, because when you're going through your hotspot and you're trying to figure out later what you were trying to do, it's a lot easier to see. Well, if the character state is in proximity to this named object, red cube, like that, right? So that's easy to read. That's easy to figure out what this line is doing. So anyway, we're checking, is he nearby? Is he nearby? In that case, then we're going to set the player's color. So let me go here. Where did color go? Set color. There we are. Set color of character. And obviously he's near the red cube, so we're going to make him red. Oh, I should have done play color there. We'll just do cloth, that's fine. I don't need to set the entire thing red. Actually, let me do fur. That's probably a little easier to spot if he turns bright red. There we go. Alright, so as it stands, this is what we have. Character's here. If he gets close to the red cube... Oh, maybe I should set the proximity a little higher.
We'll say 3. There we are. Alright, so if our character gets close to the red cube,
he turns red, just like that. Boom. But now if he goes to the blue cube, nothing happens. If he goes to the red cube, nothing happens. That's just that fired once. So we need to create a loop again. But now we have two options, right? So we want to be able to switch back and forth. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm just going to say if in proximity to blue cube, turn in blue. Now this isn't actually going to work exactly how we want it, right? Because what's going to happen? He's going to go over to the red cube, he's going to turn red, and if he goes over to the blue cube first, he won't turn blue because it's only checking for this, right? So that is where if else comes in. So I'm going to say if he's in proximity to the red cube, then yeah, do the thing beneath me. But if he's not, I check this button here, and there's a couple of functions that have this option. If you see this option, then you basically have if else functionality. So I say if not, then go to this line right here. Now, let's say that if it is, let's say it is true, and he's in proximity to the red cube, and he gets turned red. Well, now it's not going to check for red cube again, because we've already checked that. It's just going to go down and check for blue cube, and it won't do anything else until blue cube's checked. So if-else loops depend on go-to-line as well, but instead of putting go-to-line at the very bottom, you put it at the end of every instruction. So you put it right here, and so here's what's going to happen. If I put this here and I put this here. If he's in proximity to the red cube, he's going to set this color, and then he's going to go to the beginning and check this all over again. Now let's say that he isn't anymore. Well, now it's going to skip this, and it's going to go down here. If I hadn't had this go to line 0, then it would just run it all at once. But if I have this go to line 0, I can separate, and it doesn't have to be line 0, in this case it is, but I can separate each command and then check everything all over again. And you know, just for good measure, we're going to create one more instruction here, which is going to be, let's say he's not in proximity to the blue cube, and we'll do a double check. If he's not in proximity to the blue cube and not in proximity to the red cube, then we'll set his clothes to be, I don't know, green. There we go. Did I make that green? Yes. And we'll go to the beginning again. So now I'll just add another if not and make him go to this one. And I'll say, on this one, I'll say, if not, go to line 0. So now what's going to happen is, first it checks to see, is he near the red cube? No. Okay. Is he near the blue cube? No. Okay. Is he near none of the cubes? Which should be the last option. And if it finds none of these true for some reason, now normally if I set this up, I actually set it up to throw an error. I'll have an error appear on text on screen, so I know something went wrong, but this is a real simple way to do it. It's just going to keep looping through all this, checking to see which one is true. Alright, and you can see that's already happening. It's looping through the code. And you see now I turned green. As soon as I started playing, it turned green. That's because I wasn't in proximity to either cube. Now I'm going to get close to the red one. And I'm red. Let's go away. I'm green again. I'm red. And now I'm... Oh, that's interesting. I'm not blue. Let's see what went wrong there. First of all, did I name this blue cube? Yes, I did. Blue cube, else go to line 6. So, usually when I'm debugging like this, it's very helpful to just go over everything all over again and just see what steps are being taken. So, we know red cube works. Otherwise, it says go to line 3. Alright, are we close to the blue cube? If not, go to line 6. So that is set up identical to the red cube. Yes. That should be triggering. And yeah, it sets the color to blue, or it should. If not, okay, I see what's going on. If not, go to line. There we go. I should have had another one there. That should work. Let's try one more time. There. 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 There we go. That is an if-else loop. You just separate everything by go-to lines, so it's all kind of blocked out. And then you just go from one to the other to the other. And I find, because this can get really complicated really, really fast, so I find that it's also helpful to sometimes put comments in here so that you can say, am I near red cube? Then I do over here, am I near blue cube? A comment won't do anything. It'll just show the comment and move on. The comment is just for you. So last question, am I near neither cube? And then I could just tell him to go to this one instead. And go to this one. I guess that one still goes there. And now, if you're going over your code later, it's a lot easier to see what's going on. You open this up. Oh, okay, I go to am I near blue cube? So you know that's the logic he's checking for. And before I end this video, last thing I'll go over real quick is some of the hotspots that have if-else functionality. So you've already seen check character state has that. The very first one to have if-else functionality put into it was read-write save file. Not going to go into what that function does. That's an entirely other video, but that has an if-else functionality as well. And actually, that one's the most complex because you can actually say if this and this, or if any of these are true, if all of these are true. So that one's the most complex. Aside from that, there's also, let's see, what else has it? I think dialogue has it. Let's see, dialogue choice, I think. Well, not quite. But if you pick a choice, you could pick the line you go to. Similar idea, because if you set up a dialogue choice and you want it all in one hotspot, you'll set it up similar to an if-else setup, because you'll need these little go-to lines to separate everything. What else do we have? We have, I think on character? Well, no. That one doesn't have that. It has reset when false, which can be quite useful, but that's a different thing. What else do I have? I don't think on input has it. I think there's one other one that has it. I'm just trying to remember which one. Well, maybe not. Alright, so it looks like it's just check character state at the moment and read-write save file. Those are the main ones that have it. But honestly, with those two, you could do a lot. And I believe in the future, if-else functionality is probably going to be added to more hotspots as time goes on. Or when DHS gets transferred over to a node system, then it'll be by default in pretty much every function, I assume. Anyway, there you go. That is if-else functionality. Hopefully that was understandable, and you learned something and had fun watching. See you later.